Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? So as you know, throughout this month I'm making the how-to videos, and I've just gone live across on my Facebook page, Marianne Hanson Counselling Service, to talk about this topic. So it's how to accept things you can't change, or to change the things you can't accept. So for many people, it feels easier to focus on the things you know are out of your control. And the reasons for that is it means that you don't have to take any action. If you say, well, I can't do anything about this situation because the government is making decisions, or I can't do anything because of inflation, or I can't leave this relationship because, whatever reasons, it means that you don't have to take action, but then at the same time, you don't want to accept the situation either. So it keeps you in this trapped loop, really, where you're not accepting the situation because it's not a good situation to be in, but you're not taking action because you feel you don't have any choice. So you feel helpless and you feel disempowered. So the other part is having a scapegoat or a blame culture, because that negates your responsibility. If you say, well, I'm going to blame another person or another thing, then it means you don't have to take any action, because you can then say, well, there's nothing I can do. So it's similar to obviously what I've just said a minute ago. So if you're always in a cycle where you feel stuck, where you feel trapped, where you feel hopeless, where you feel helpless and powerless, it means that you're not going to ever be in a situation where you feel you can take action. And the whole point with that is then you are really accepting the situation by default. You're not choosing to accept it, you're just accepting it by way of not taking any action. So for things to be different, you have to either decide or ask yourself these questions, really. The first one is, can I do anything about this issue or situation, or is it beyond my control? Be completely honest and say to yourself, if it's, say, a person and you've been waiting for this person to change, you've been trying to help them change and just nothing has happened, you may just decide, this situation is out of my control. I can still be with in this relationship, or I can still be trying to help this person for years to come, but it's not me that has to do the work, it's them. They're only going to change when they're ready. In another situation, you might say, well, is there part of it within my control? So that's where you start to empower yourself, and you might say, I do have choices, I do have options here. So the next thing to think about is, what would it feel like or what would be different if you accepted things for how they were? So say you're working in an environment at work and you are always complaining about one of your colleagues, or you're always complaining about the hours of work, and you've been there for the company maybe for 5-10 years. The hours of work have always been the same. This colleague has always been the same. That's her personality or his. If you were to accept things the way they were, and you were to say, I've chosen this contract or this arrangement to be at this job and to do these hours, what would it feel like to just say, I'm just going to do the hours, and I'm going to accept that unless I leave the job, these are the hours I have to work? What if you were to say, I'm going to stop trying to change my colleague, or I'm not going to keep complaining about my colleague every time I go into work. I'm just going to accept that's who they are, that's how they are. And that could be for anyone, a colleague, a friend, a family member. What would it feel like, and what would be different? Would it feel any different if you did that? And the third thing is, what actions or options are available to you? Make a list of all of the options or any solutions that come up for you. So you could be in a situation where you really don't feel you want to accept it. So the next step then is, okay, well, what are all of my options available to me? And then which of these actions are you drawn to the most? There's always usually a few when we make a list that we feel more comfortable or drawn towards, and then what you would do is act on it. That's the final thing, really, is you either accept things that you can't change, or you change the things you can't accept. But whichever way you do it, it's going to take a level of action. It's either the acceptance is an emotional action or response. It's where you say, do you know what, I'm just letting this go, I'm accepting this is the way that it is, this is the reality of the situation. Taking action, that's a practical thing that you have to do. You have to get up and you leave the relationship. You have to get up and you have to move to another country. You have to get up and you have to change the job. It's not going to happen unless you take action. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Thanks for watching, and throughout the rest of the month, we've only got, 7 more days. I'm going to continue to do these how-to videos. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye.